You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network.
A little bit funky today, Jared.
Very funky.
What do we got?
We got Lusitania Lights with a song called Classics.
Ah.
They recorded this with my boy Dunna at Resonate Music School and Studio, and it is a jammin' track.
Nice, funky.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
Super
Little slow jam,
talented.
Chris. What do you think?
I always thought it was called Resonant.
no, Resonate.
Resonate. My bad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ride this song out.
I like it. Enjoy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oilers Nation Radio, episode 32. I think 32. Pretty sure it's 32.
33.
Might be 33.
Might be 33.
33.
Could be 33, could be 32, could be 56. I have no idea. As always, I want to go ahead and thank our friends at Sherwood Ford, the Giant in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. On April 27th, they are doing their Adopt a Pet-a-thon starting at 1 p.m. Go and make a difference in an animal's life. They're going to have all kinds of puppies there. You said cats too, right, Chris?
Yeah, cats too. On
Cats,
April 27th.
dogs.
We're closing in. We're 10 days out.
Go check it out. If you have the means to raise an animal, I encourage you to do so. Maybe you can get them to pick hockey games like I do with my dog. If you're going to have an animal, put them to work. That's what I always say.
It's easy internet points too.
People love it. Who doesn't love a cute dog? Everybody does is the answer, right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're deathly allergic. In which case, take some Claritin.
That's why they have cats there.
Sort it out. Cats, dogs, go check it out.
If you're allergic to dogs, you can't be allergic to cats.
You're just a cat person then.
Thank you, Dr. Chris.
Maybe you get a hypoallergenic doggo, like a poodle. That'd be nice.
A Labradoodle?
Maybe a Labradoodle.
Oh, I don't know if they're gonna have those
A
there.
Havanese.
Maybe.
A hairless cat?
Hairless cat. They get a little oily though sometimes, Chris.
I know
You gotta
we'll
towel
be
them
there.
down.
We're gonna be there handing out stickers and playing with the dogs.
Of course, once again, that is out at Sherwood Ford, the Giant in beautiful Sherwood Park, Alberta. Follow them on Twitter at Sherwood Ford and on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. If you do follow them on Instagram, you will notice they are posting a lot of pictures of beautiful vehicles on there. And I'm sliding into the comment section, just reminding our friends at Sherwood Ford about my 1987 Ford Escort GT that I'm hoping to drive along with everybody sitting at this table next season. Just imagine the convoy that we will have driving down Jasper Ave. Connor McDavid riding atop my beautiful Escort,
8 of us piled into one Escort.
carrying the Stanley Cup above his head.
Oh,
Mission
If it has
20.
if it has a sunroof, then he can stand out and lift it up, kind of like you saw Gretz and Mess do in the convertible a couple of years ago.
That'd look really nice.
I think it looked fantastic.
We'll get Evan on the top of a building throwing down ticker tape.
100%.
It's going to be great.
I hope everyone gets an Escort except for Dan,
Wow.
because he said I was nasally before we started the podcast.
I
It's
said
true.
your
Dan said
voice
you were nasally.
is more nasally than Jared's.
I disagree.
I'm so sorry.
We've only got Chris for 30 minutes today. He's got to tend to Dustin Nilsson related business. So we're going to get a move on. I already mentioned Connor McDavid. And today, as we record this on a Thursday, because we got a long weekend coming up, it is April 18th, 2019, which is the 4th anniversary of the Connor McDavid lottery. The reason I bring that up, boys, obviously it's the anniversary. I'm just curious. I don't know if I've heard everybody at the table's tale of what they were doing that day. For me personally, I had the draft lottery on. I wasn't paying attention. I had already resigned myself to the fact that the Oilers would be drafting Dylan Strome or Noah Hannafin or somebody in there. So I didn't really care a whole lot. To me, picking 3rd overall, not nearly as fun, though we did get Leon Draisaitl 3rd overall, and he is a beauty. I was not really watching. When Bill Daly turned over the golden ticket card, I had to rewind my PVR about 56 times to make sure that my eyes were not lying to me. They've done that before, Dan. Generally, that's after a few tequilas. However, this time I was stone sober and I couldn't believe it. Daniel, where were you?
I was covering a baseball game in Halifax, and I wasn't even paying attention, to be honest. This was probably the first draft lottery in the previous 4 years that I hadn't paid attention to. And I got a notification on my phone from our friends at TSN, and that told me that we were going to be selecting 1st overall. I threw my phone up in the air, straight up in the air, and my girlfriend at the time thought that somebody in my family had died because I couldn't say words. Like, words were not coming to me anymore. And then I turned off my baseball game. I think I got written up because I stopped doing my job because I was just in shock. So yeah, that's my story.
Connor means more than baseball.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah,
Come on.
worth it.
I remember Wanye calling me. My phone's ringing. I see it's Wanye's name. I say, hello. And he's screaming at me. Oh my God, did you see it? Holy hell, they won Connor McDavid. I gotta go. It was literally a 7-second conversation. He yelled at me and then hung up and assumedly vanished into the night.
He probably called like 56 other people with a 7-second blurb like that.
I think he was just calling everybody and just yelling at them and then hanging up and calling the next person.
I actually wish he was here to tell the story because it was hilarious. He was in a business meeting at Earl's or something like that. They were just like having a cocktail and he was watching the TV. And when the golden ticket came up, he got up and left his meeting.
So
Just walked right out.
That's fair.
worth it.
That's a very Wanye thing to do, by the way.
Connor is
Absolutely.
more important than business. And
Of course it is. Chris, where were you?
I was not yet working with the Nation at the time. I was in the Meadows Arena Community Center.
Wow, weird flex.
Reffing a hockey game. Didn't have service in the building, so I found out a little later than everyone else. But I got back to my vehicle.
How much later was it? Like
It was pretty good timing. Maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Then I got the notification to my phone. It was very exciting.
Nobody else in the arena was tracking it though.
Likely not. There was no service.
Looking back on it, was anybody like celebrating or yelling loudly when?
No, I cannot recall.
Interesting.
Had you applied for your job at the Nation yet at that point? Because that would have been April.
Maybe.
You came on just for the draft party.
No.
He was waiting to see where we picked.
That's what.
Yeah, I was waiting to see where the
He was
Oilers
picking his
stood.
spot.
It would have been
Connor,
right
I'm
in the
going somewhere
process.
else.
It would have been close.
He was going to apply to whatever nation Connor ended up at.
That's fair.
Pretty
understandable.
much, yeah.
Rick, where were you at?
We didn't even throw a party that year.
Nope,
Like,
did not.
I early in the season said, you know what? I'm not even worrying about this kid. No chance we get him. Broke his hand against the glass, got in that fight in junior. I said, you know what? That sucks for him, but whatever. He's not going to end up here. It's not that big of a deal. Like, hopefully he's ready for Team Canada. Go, Connor. You're going to be great for Canada, but whatever. You're going to be somebody else's
Probably
golden
Buffalo's.
ticket. Yeah,
golden ticket.
somebody, anybody. It's not going to be us. It's just not. So I was sitting on the couch and same thing that had it on in the background. And once he pulled the ticket, I think I stopped. And I don't know if it was a second or if it was a week that passed by, but I had smiles and I just started mashing the hell out of the buttons on my phone. I'm sure Bag Milk got one. I guarantee Wanye and Jay got them. You just started looking like at your list of like people on your contacts, like this person needs to know.
Yeah.
This person's gonna know. This person's gonna know. And I honestly, I think I sat there without moving probably about almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it was.
And you just sat there and there's the biggest smile on your face. And I'm not sure I blinked at all. You mashed out some texts. And of course, at this point, now they start just talking them up, right? Like, oh, this is Connor. And they start showing all this other shit. And you're like, oh.
Just
Start thinking about the
surreal.
combinations.
Oh, man,
and,
get me a real GM and we're going to take over the world.
Isn't it wild? It's been 4 years.
Yes and no.
And then what happened?
It's interesting to think back to it now because we're 4 years on, looking back at it and how that triggered a lot of changes in the organization that didn't turn out so well in hindsight. I mean, they won the lottery shortly after, like a week, 10 days, something like that. Mac T got the boot. Chiarelli was here. McClellan was here.
Mhm.
What was going through your guys' mind at that time? I remember when Chiarelli I was super excited about Todd McClellan. Super excited about having a experienced coach coming in. I thought that after the Dallas Aikens era, that's exactly what they needed. I was very concerned about Peter Chiarelli based on his work in Boston. Yes, he won a cup, but I also remember he traded Blake Wheeler. He traded Tyler Seguin. He got hosed on the Zach Boychuk trade. I was nervous, but I had an open mind. Rick, what were you thinking?
I won't lie. I felt kind of good. We went outside of the old boys club, or the whole area that everybody wanted to avoid, and we brought in a guy who had done the job before. He's a veteran at the job, and you know what? I'm a positive guy. This is what we need. This guy put Todd in there. These guys are going to hand in hand. We're going straight to the top, and we had one pretty good round of playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Rick. Like like it was hard to be negative at that point, right? Like you're just over the moon excited. People want to come to Edmonton now.
And they went out
be a
and
part
got
of the
a
organization.
GM from outside. I know it's Team Canada. Well, if you've been around long enough, they're going to know you from this, that, or the other thing. But they went outside the organization,
Yep.
and this was like, hey, you know what? They're doing it.
100%.
Okay, here we go.
And when I say like I was nervous, like I was completely open-minded. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was like, oh fuck, Peter Chiarelli's here. He's going to trade Taylor Hall in a
For
1-for-1,
Larson.
and like it wasn't that at all. It was just, oh, this guy has no problem dealing big pieces. That makes me nervous. But like Rick said, he was a guy who was not around. He wasn't one of the old boys. So I was like, I'm going to go into this thing with an open mind, see how it goes.
He can't make the same mistakes twice, can he?
Yeah.
Surely he learned from all his mistakes.
And then,
Wow. I was I was aware of his record, his track record, but it just wasn't really going through my mind. I was on top of the world. I thought the Oilers were on top of the world. Nicholson was brought on just a year before, I believe. So I was pumped about Nicholson. I was pumped about having a GM that's outside of the inner circle. Lucic was signed a little later after that. Like I had playoff visions, Stanley Cup visions in the next 5 years, and here we are. So that's
Hey,
cool.
we're only 4 years in.
Yeah, we got one more part of my dream.
It's weird to look back now after 4 years and kind of think of what was going on in terms of personnel when Pete came in. It's frustrating. I mean, it's angering to look back on what they had on their depth chart to where we're at today in 2019 in terms of Taylor Hall was here. They had Nuge, they had Draisaitl, they had McDavid, they had Eberle was here. Clefbaum was already here. Nurse was already here.
Petrie was here, wasn't he?
Petrie was still here. Joltz was still here.
See, it was just they came in and they got it wrong right from the top. Just that whole philosophy of what they wanted to build their team as. And they wanted to go that big, heavy hockey route. And it was, you were at the end of that timeline, at the end of that era, and they didn't have the foresight to see what was coming up next. Yet, in the 80s, we were the ones who started that. It was all bang, tough, crash hockey. And then the Oilers came out and were like, hey, you know what? We don't want to fucking fight any of you guys. We're just going to murder you with all this offense. And yeah, let's see you stop us that way. And then all of a sudden, the game started to swing to a more offensive side of things. And unfortunately, we were on the losing end of, just at the end of this era. And we went all in on the wrong type of player. And it takes a long time to bounce back from that.
Looking ahead, obviously Connor signed he was in the first year of his new deal this year. Another 7 to go, and hopefully many more after that. Where do you guys think we're at going into year 5 of Connor McDavid? Obviously, there's going to be significant changes. We don't know what's going to happen in the offseason. They still don't have a GM. They need a coach. They maybe need a POHO, depending on who you ask. Where do we go from here? Because obviously you have an asset that is not titanium, as much as I wish he was. He will get older. That's a thing that happens to humans, though I'm not sure he is in fact human. Where do we go from here, Dan?
It's you said it already. Like this offseason is a big one. Like, do we have a GM that comes in and tries to work his instant magic and shift some pieces around, get some cap space, bring in some new bodies? Or do we have a GM that comes in and plays the patient role this season? And I think we've said it last week that maybe with Clefbaum and Sekera already and they stay healthy this year, that maybe we are a bubble playoff team and can see some success there. So it's a lot hinges on this GM decision and where we go from there and what that GM does.
I just found, so as we're talking here, I'm looking at some of my McDavid related tweets from April of 2015. And how's this beauty for you,
times.
Chris? This McDavid Chiarelli week of news is making me forget all about the summer of Steve. Hashtag Hordachuk, hashtag Eager, hashtag Sutton.
Hey, that was a good day, man. We signed those 5 guys, and I legit was able to, you know what? Darcy, they fills this hole. Ben Eager, this is that, that power forward. The man has speed. He's big. He's tough. He's got some hands. We saw what he could do in Chicago. 5 guys we brought in that offseason, I think it was. And I was like, I gave check marks to all 5 of them. I was like, yeah, this is a hole. That's a hole. Bang, plugged and plugged.
Don't get me wrong.
Let's go.
Well, I was just like, I remember thinking like the toughness that that's what everybody said we needed, the toughness in the bottom six. And I was super excited. I was a big Ben Eager guy. I loved him in Chicago.
He would have been fine if our Russian defenseman didn't break his back in the preseason or training
Yeah, there's
camp or
a
whatever
Joey
the hell it
Moss
was.
Cup or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Rang his bell real good.
Dude was never the same afterwards.
Oh, he was not the same.
I think that just goes to speak to the, like you said, Bag Milk, that it's just like there was such a positivity surrounding it, and we were all hyped up and excited. But the reality was there was this dark cloud of, oh yeah, he traded Blake Wheeler for a bunch of guys that don't play for the Bruins anymore, and oh yeah, he traded Tyler Seguin for one dude left now from that trade. Like it was a tough.
Yeah, I think I saw it the other day. Somebody tweeted out the breakdown of that Seguin trade, and I can't remember what it is, but the players who went to Boston are like 5 points up on the guys who went to Dallas. So who really won that one?
Yeah, fair enough.
Equal.
Yeah. Easy now.
As always, I want to thank our friends at Sherwood Ford for this trip down memory lane. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, they are doing their Adopt a Petathon on April 27th. That is, 9 days away?
Yeah, I said 10 days earlier, but I was wrong.
9 days away.
Math.
April 27th out in Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Chris will be there a day early.
Yeah.
Chris will be there a day early because he is so excited for puppies.
I'm camping out. I'm going to be there with my tent.
Why wouldn't you? Maybe you could set up a tent in that beautiful truck you were driving around in last time.
I could sleep in the box of his truck.
Of course you could.
Easy.
Maybe get the puppies there a day early too.
Oh.
Then you can have them in the box of the truck or the tent with you.
Who doesn't like puppy cuddles?
That'd be a
Everybody
dream.
does. Go check him out on social media, on Twitter at Sherwood Ford, on Instagram at Sherwood Ford _the Giant. I want to keep going on the Connorversary a little bit because obviously this is one of the most important things that has happened in this franchise's history. I want to fast forward a little bit to the draft party itself that happened in June. Chris, that was your first week at Oilers Nation working here.
Yeah.
That was capped off on a Friday, or I believe it was a Friday. Beautiful day in the city. We were down at the Pint. It was absolutely smashed, packed.
I think it was nice and sunny outside.
Patio is open.
Oh, man. I like to look back on pictures from that party. Just good memories.
As I was posting my Connorversary article today at Oilersnation.com, I was looking at some of the stuff that we had from the draft party. First, I was looking at the reaction video we put together from the lottery.
So
hilarious. Good. Then I looked at the draft party video and just the positive vibes that were going on in the building. And the room was packed. Chants were breaking out. I remember everybody loudly cheering for Peter Chiarelli as he called out from the Erie Otters.
Yep.
The Edmonton Oilers are proud to select Connor McDavid. And everybody goes bananas.
That just gave me goosebumps.
Everybody was just shocked that we picked Connor.
Man, we had there were so many news cameras there, just like capturing everything. Like, what sports team would do this for drafting a player?
Not for the 9th one in a row.
Yeah.
In hindsight, though, it's interesting to think back on because we were all probably so blinded by the happiness of Connor McDavid that the Griffin Reinhart trade kind of flew under the radar.
I am on video saying that I am pumped about Griffin Reinhart because I was like, trades, Connor McDavid, more acquisitions, yeah.
To be fair, though, at that point, but that was around pick 15, 16 or
very
whatever that went through.
intoxicated, yeah.
Chris had probably had a few cocktails by then.
Yeah.
He was still a young kid back then.
I was a little baby.
He was, yeah. Yeah. Dan, where were you during the draft? Because you weren't back in Edmonton yet, were you?
No, I was still in Halifax. I was working in the office that day, and I really had to try and convince myself that Griffin Reinhart trade was good because everybody else in the office, a bunch of Leaf fans, Bruin fans, Hab fans, were just dunking on me.
Of course they were. What do they know, though?
For the bad trade that they thought we pulled off. Way too much to pay for a former Oil King. But I tried to stay positive about it. Like we said, we're all just
overall draft pick. Come on now.
Yeah, we were all just kind of drinking the Kool-Aid of excitement, and I mean,
God,
how'd
love
that work out for us?
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, we'll get it back here.
Love that
Get it
Kool-Aid.
back
It's
in stock
delicious.
soon.
Oh, I still have it.
Goes down smooth every
Oh,
time.
So smooth.
It's like, I'm still at a point because we're in the first round of the playoffs. I love the first round of the NHL playoffs, by the way. They're so good. The upsets, the drama, the ups and downs are all great. We're going to talk about the playoffs in a minute, but like, I'm still bitter about how this year went, but I can't wait for my next glass of Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? Like, say the Oilers...
It's not far away.
It's not going to be. Like, I mean, if they bring in... I mean, now They could bring Bill Guerin in for an interview.
Pat Verbeek.
Pat Verbeek could be coming in for an interview.
Pretty much everybody minus Kelly McCrimmon.
So we're going to get another dose of Kool-Aid here right away.
Yeah.
It's coming up quick.
That's what I was going to say. You were asking Big Milk how we feel moving forward. And I feel right now the exact same feeling I've felt in the last 4 years after every season, except for 2017. It was a very disappointing season, but I'm about to drink another glass of Kool-Aid because we've got a summer to work on the team. We're writing a new script next season, and the cycle continues for being an Oilers
This
fan.
is not an impossible fix.
No.
Like I know I read an article on ON today where he kind of broke down you can get rid of like a Luch, you can get rid of a Russell, between Lucic, Russell, and Sekera, you need to try and move 2 of them. If you can move 2 of those guys this year, my preference obviously 27-4, but if you can move those 2 guys this summer, you've just released the shackles off your wrists. Like the amount you can do after that is going to be really, really positive.
Yeah. In addition to what is going to go, the cap's going to go up 2, 3, 4, 5 million, whatever it's going to be.
Up another 4, and then when you get Seattle in what not next season but the season after, it'll go up again because of all that new revenue that come in.
A little bit of compliance buyouts.
Little lockout here or there. Never hurt anybody except everybody.
They can't have a lockout this
They're
time.
going to.
Can we not talk about
They're
that though?
prepared for it.
We have many future episodes to talk about potential.
I think I still have signs at work about the anti-lockout party we had there in 10, 11,
Probably somewhere.
something like
around there.
that, 14, 12,
Ugh, makes me
13.
sick.
Sticking along the lines, sticking on the Connor McDavid news, we haven't done a ON radio since the Oilers, and by Oilers I mean the media, offered a injury update on what's going on with the man. The Oilers late Friday put out probably one of the worst updates of all time, where it's just like, we've got a plan and now it's happening.
But Bag Milk, they said they were going to be very transparent going forward.
Well, that was my
goodness.
favorite part about that terrible update, is that it happened literally 5-6 days after Bob Nicholson said that the team was going to be more transparent with their fans and media. Like,
The transparency starts with the new GM, I think. So they get a little bit of wiggle room.
They got a wiggle room.
it was just so funny. Like, I get it if it was in season, but the season's done.
What? Yeah.
Give people an update. And then the next morning, Gregor gives an update, Friedman, all the usual suspects where he's got a little tear in his PCL, no surgery needed. Like, shout out to the Oilers for saying nothing.
I loved that night though. Everybody, like fans, came out like, "Hey guys, what the fuck is this?"
The LA Kings were mocking them.
Everybody, like Bob McKenzie's like, "Thanks," and like Elliot Freeman, like, okay,
what
like,
are
all
you
these guys
doing?
are coming out. All these legit guys are coming out and kind of dunking on them. Like,
It was just an announcement,
just
non-announcement.
tell us
That's,
something,
Well,
man.
and
Like,
they
what are you guys hiding?
the first word of the tweet was update in all caps, as if like some huge news is
Sit
about to
down,
be broken. Yeah.
everyone. This is big. This is big.
We've started a conditioning plan for Connor McDavid. All right,
We
cool.
talked to some very, very skilled surgeons.
Well, obviously, just so
it was a weird
irks
week in
me.
the sense of that injury news, because to me, I thought it was funny watching people freak out a little bit that the Oilers were going to second and third opinions on Connor. To me, I looked at it as, of course you are.
You
Yeah.
can do that from either perspective. Like whether there is a tear, you're like, hey, hold on. You 5 guys, come tell me there's a tear. There's not a tear. You 5 guys, come tell me there's
Yeah.
not a tear. Like from every possible perspective, you'd want backups.
It's Connor McDavid. You should be getting a 4th and 5th update too.
I'm surprised. Like I wrote it at the time, is the Oilers would have gone to Tony Stark if they could have. They would have gone to anybody to try and get an update on Connor McDavid that was accurate and try to figure it out. It's Connor. We're not talking about, I don't know,
not Connor.
Toby Reeder, who they don't care about. It's a soon-to-be free agent, Toby Reeder. I just thought it was
See ya.
interesting.
His whole injury, like that week was just an odd week because we heard like some mild rumblings that there's really nothing wrong with him at all, which were unconfirmed, obviously. But then the picture of him mini golfing was going around with a giant ass brace on his leg. And it's like, well, obviously that's there for safety and for precaution, but like, does he really need that big of a brace? Like, what's going on? And then finally, it was just a PCL tear.
Can
If
he
it
not
was
find a better-
if it was gonna be something worse than what it was, I almost guarantee you nobody have any pictures of him anywhere.
Yeah. He was.
I like to think that the picture that came out of Connor playing a little mini golf, Professor Wem. I like to think that he set a course record that day.
I can only imagine
Of course
he did.
18 holes, 18 shots. He was out there in
17
in 15 minutes or less.
Well, if you put enough English on it, you can drop it in a hole, have it spin backwards off of it, bounce out, and
Onto
hit up
the next hole. Yeah. If anyone
really
can
not
do
impossible.
it, if anyone can do it,
If
Right.
anyone can do it, Connor McDavid can do it.
Probably did it with the club between his legs, but
He
then
didn't even use a club.
but it wasn't that good though because his other foot was off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
you're right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice full
That's a-
callback. That's a callback.
Of course,
to
a
two
nice little
episodes.
callback to Chris saying Connor's between the legs goal was not that nice because he had his foot off the ice. Go back and check out
It was a nice goal, but
a couple of episodes ago. Unfortunately, the Oilers do not get to participate this year, but the playoffs are going on, so we should talk about it.
Should we?
I think
yes.
we should.
This is exhilarating stuff right
where
now.
we're
It
sitting.
has been
Where we're
amazing.
sitting right now. Personally, I'm quite enjoying the playoffs.
Man, I don't remember a first round like this one.
They're all like this, except for the
Except
fact
for last year's and the year before and the year before.
all of them have something about them that you sit there and you go all in on.
Yep.
And it's maybe a small story, maybe it's a big story. It's a fact that comes around once a year, and we're all ridiculous hockey fans that it grabs us, it grabs our attention. You sit there and you can't blink anymore. You just sit there and stare at it.
Yep. It's nuts. Like playoff hockey right off the hop, game one in every series. You kind of have to remind yourself, oh shit, like regular season's nothing like this. Everyone's given that extra push, the extra hits, the extra dives, the extra blocked shots. Like it's so much more faster. It's so much more intense than regular season.
Where you have Mitch Marner laying down in front of the puck, like his face is sticking out in front of it. He's like, "Oh, I'll just put my glove here and hope for the best."
He's doing that. You've got Alex Ovechkin knocking guys out. Like there's
That's two-sided too, right? At least the little kid decided, I got to try and do something. I'll try and go with the big old man here.
Well, and we're going to get to that fight. Like, to me, the obvious lesson was don't fight a guy 50 pounds heavier than you.
Or do
That's
if you
fair.
can do some training beforehand.
Like a Little Mac,
Get ready.
Mike Tyson punch out.
Yeah, or like Lil Penny.
Yeah.
I don't know how many fights Lil Penny got in the 90s. Chris, do you know about Lil Penny?
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
Lil Penny or Little Penny?
Lil Penny.
All right.
How about, do you know about, you don't know about the Orlando Magic at all, do you?
No.
Which playoff series are you guys enjoying the most right now? Personally, I'm enjoying the Flames Colorado series.
That's fantastic.
I mean, never in their history have the Flames allowed 50 shots in back-to-back games. That includes regular season or playoffs, yet they just did it. The weird part about it is that Mike Smith is actually looking like a rock star for the Flames right now. And if it had not been for him, they would have been demolished these last two games against Colorado.
So I hear they have another trademark out in there. They're just waiting for it to be okayed by the government. Johnny who? Johnny where? What has he done out there?
Well,
he
it's
hasn't
funny-
done a damn thing.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was having a great time going through Flames Twitter. And
Dude, I saw something where they're like, "Hey, sit Monahan, sit Goudreau in the next game, and show the team that you mean something." Like that's where they're at right now.
I've
They're
been
like,
loving
they're
the-
sit Goudreau. He doesn't need to play anymore.
Well,
He's not
wasn't
doing
there-
anything. Let's do some effort out there.
Didn't something come out this morning? Like someone was talking about trading Gaudreau?
Yes,
That's what I was
they're-
gonna
My
say.
goodness.
They're going crazy.
Those are my favorite, where it's like Gaudreau can't perform in the playoffs. He needs to go. And then, of course, all the Ryan Strome for Eberle jokes come out, which, I appreciate. Oilers fans always got a crowbar joke in there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can't make fun of him too much because there was a certain part of the Oiler fan base after our one.
Oh, we
single
are
playoff run.
100% identical.
And I saw you admitted on Twitter there the other day that you had a bit of a hate on for Eberle.
Oh yeah,
afterwards.
that's no secret. I was very pissed off at Jordan Eberle. I didn't want to I was content with him being traded. Obviously not for the return that we got.
But yeah,
I
you were ready
was
to move on from him.
Yeah, it just happened. So obviously I'm pumped he's scoring now. But we are so identical to Flames fans in a way that we don't even know.
Don't put that out in the universe.
It's
At
just
the best, they are identical to us.
sure. It's just nice to see them in the same boat that we are often find ourselves in.
That's fair.
Going to continue on. Well, boys, I think what you're saying is The Flames stink.
No.
Yep.
And what they need more than
No.
anything
Yep.
is a POG deodorizer.
Yes.
Why? Because it kills 98% of household odors caused by bacteria and fungus. If you go to thepogstore.com, you can find a mobile unit, a plug-in unit. They've even got fridge units. Make sure your fridge is smelling fresh.
Do they have something you could put on the players bench? Because I feel like it's kind of stinky over there right
Oh,
now.
it's going to be wiping out that whole bench, Rick.
Oh, I quite enjoy this.
Go to thepogstore.com, pick up a deodorizer that freshens and purifies the air naturally using the power of ozone.
I know you're joking, Rick, but a lot of NHL teams actually use pogs in their dressing rooms.
Of course they do. When your equipment stinks like they do, you need one.
Mm-hmm.
You need the POG. It eliminates odors without the use of dangerous chemicals. And not just pro athletes need that. I guarantee you need one in your home as well. Chris, how's your equipment smelling?
Same as it did last week because I haven't touched it. So good.
Dan, the bathroom at your place?
Great. No more fan. All pog.
Frank does not stink up my house anymore. He's adorable, but he smells sometimes. He rolls in dirt. That's what he does.
He's a dirty boy.
Thanks to the POG, my plug-in unit. Throw that baby on. 10 minutes every 4 hours. My house smells fresh. Fresh. Go check them out at thepogstore.com. Another series I want to talk about is, well, I guess two series I want to talk about is Tampa and Pittsburgh both getting swept, ruining playoff brackets for so many people outside of Dan. I know Dan has been humble bragging this whole week that he picked both
Hey.
Columbus and New York to go through.
Yeah, but okay.
I also picked the Avalanche.
Before we continue, why don't you tell everyone who you have to win the cup?
The Nashville Predators.
Nashville's going to lose in the first round, and your whole bracket's
They're
going to be
tied
ruined.
2-2 in a series right now.
Yeah, and they're going to lose.
And they're going home.
They got pumped last night, didn't they?
They did get pumped last
they
night.
did.
But you know what?
5-0 or something like that. Or they scored what, 3 power plays in the first
it was bad.
first period. Dallas did.
But you can write off one game. That's fine.
I also have Nashville moving on, but what I'm saying, Dan, is that you
Sweet shade, Chris.
I am on your side, but you're wrong because of.
you chose all the upsets.
Nope.
All the upsets.
I chose the Bruins. I chose the who else did I choose that was a favorite on in the West side? Oh, the Jets.
But I mean, like, those two series are pretty equal. I don't think one is a clear favorite over the other.
Okay.
But I think your strategy for this playoff bracket was to choose the upsets.
No.
So in the small chance that this does occur, then you will break it.
You can't-
which is not a bad strategy.
You can't bet against Barry Trotz in the playoffs. So that's where the Islanders came from. Columbus was a hope and a dream because I thought that, like most teams that make a lot of changes, they start to gel as they come full circle, and as they head into the playoffs, they were one of the hotter teams.
Nobody thought
I did.
Columbus was going to do what they did.
I didn't
I
think.
did.
No.
I didn't think they were going to sweep. That's for damn sure.
And even when it comes to winning, you probably had to go a bit of a stretch to back up your argument because Tampa Bay looked like they should be able to walk through them.
Okay, so here's a weird thing that I just heard today. Did anybody else see that Tampa had the Stanley Cup at their Game 1 pregame party?
No.
Yeah, they rolled out the Stanley Cup
like outside
for their
the arena.
opening playoff game outside the arena.
Why?
They
Well, then
hadn't won the cup.
How?
They deserve to lose then.
Yeah,
Like
no, 100%.
unbelievable.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yes.
it
This is
might
real.
have. It might have been a league thing. We don't know for sure. We need to dig more into it. But the league might have been like, "Hey, bring the cup out."
No, you're not the champ till
Yes.
you beat
Yeah,
the
man.
champ. Therefore, if that happened anywhere, it should have been in Washington.
Yeah,
what
of course.
What a comical thing to do as the league, right? You're just hyping up Tampa, putting the Stanley Cup outside their arena, and the hockey gods are like, no.
As
Here comes
That
Columbus.
is dumb.
sticking along the lines of the playoffs, I know Chris has to leave here right away to do some Dusty-related business, but what I want to get to before Chris leaves is we have got another controversy on our hands with a Nation staff member who is not here today, you might be wondering.
I wonder where he is.
Cameron Lewis is not on the podcast today. He is not at the table today. Why? Because he is in Toronto cheering for the Maple Leafs. Last night, he was at the game against the Bruins.
Is he sad today? Has anyone talked to him?
Well, we're not talking to Cam today. We're friends off today.
Oh,
Yeah.
today would be the day you want to talk to him. He's probably a little mopey, not probably answering his phone.
Nah, he would get too sensitive if we start chirping him right now.
So I want to ask you guys, Nation fans were very upset to see Cam Lewis in a Leafs jersey and a TLN hat. Of course, the Leafs Nation. I know that we all know Cam, and he loves Toronto sports. How do you feel about him doubling as a secret agent for the Leafs?
Oh, well, I think it's been like the Jay thing was a real shock to a lot of people.
That's fair.
It was something that just kind of came out of left field. I think if you've listened to Cooom over the years, you've listened to his tweets, read his tweets, he does shade towards Toronto.
Loves it.
Yeah, Toronto teams, Toronto fandom. So I don't think it's as much of a shock. I think that our biggest fans like Fat Dad are going to blow it up and rightfully so.
It's understandable. You sit there and you believe in somebody, you read somebody, you really think this is the type of leader you want.
I think you know a guy.
And one day you're sitting there, you're watching, you're playing on the computer, and this is what you see. And it's just right away too. It's in your face. There wasn't like hey, Coombs going to Toronto, he might wear something like this. You didn't get like a little bit of, walk in on the shallow end. He went right in the deep end.
He's just rubbing it in all of our faces right now. That's what's happening, especially when like a guy like Fat Dad who's a Oiler fan sulking right now. This is a tough time for all of us right now. Scrolling through Twitter and just see Coombs having the time of his life and T.O. watching the playoffs. It's insulting. It's a big slap in the face.
What you are saying, I think, Chris, is that Cam is a terrorist and we should pack up all his shit, bury it in the yard,
Mike Commodore style.
dig another hole beside all Cam stuff, put him in it, and bury him alive as well. I think that's what Chris is saying.
I'm fine with, I wouldn't go that far, but I'm fine with kicking him out of the group.
What if we just once we get our escorts, everybody fill up the escorts with some of his stuff, and we drive it across the country, and we just drop it off probably on the, I don't think they call it the ACC anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. Just drop it on the doorstep. This is for Cooom. Yeah. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, we know.
I know that he would probably say, everybody knows I love Toronto sports. He's a big Blue Jays guy. Whereas I would argue, listen, we got one MLB team in this country. Cheering for the Jays is something we can all get behind. Cheering for the Leafs? No. Not so much.
It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell.
It's a tough sell. It's a hard sell. Chris is leaving right now. He's moving his microphone. He is backing away slowly. Chris, what are your last words to Cam Lewis that you want to say after video surfaced of him cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs, enjoying the loss that we all enjoyed?
I think Cam should be embarrassed of himself. And if I was ever in Cam's position, I would do everything possible to make sure that doesn't go up online.
You just want to censor the internet is what you're saying.
I would censor the internet. And I think Cam did a poor job.
So you'd never really go out there and cheer for another team?
Absolutely not.
It's good to hear.
Let me ask you one last question before you go.
So
you are going to a Leafs game.
Yeah.
What are you wearing to that game?
I would wear a black, just a plain black shirt and a pair of jeans.
Brutal. The correct answer is a Connor McDavid
I was
jersey.
just going to say, 100% you have to wear a Connor jersey.
Yeah, the Connor t-shirt, the Connor Nation t-shirt.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're not worthy.
Any of the Connor shirts, right?
Anything
honestly,
to remind them they don't have their native son there.
I'd wear a Neon Leon, maybe.
Maybe you take one off, change one per period.
Oh, 100%. I've definitely been known to do something.
I would just want to get out of the building alive, though, and you just can't trust Leafs fans in that sense.
I don't think Toronto fans are tough enough to do that. If Drake has survived the number of times that he's cursed that team, any Toronto-based team, Chris is kissing the crowd goodbye.
Waving kisses. He's grabbing a delicious scone from Little Brick. He is making his way upstairs. Inside the Nation, starring one Dustin Nilsson, has just begun on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Oilers Nation. Check that out every Monday and Thursday. Dustin Nilsson dropping some heat, talking Oilers, talking NHL. Chris has got a coffee, he's got a scone, he's got some water, he's got a laptop, he's got a whole thing going on here. Jared is going to slide into Chris's spot. He's going to contribute with his hot playoff takes. Chris is making his way out of the room. He is still talking, still moving. Moving on. Bye. Can the people trust Cam Lewis to provide non-biased and objective Oilers takes, knowing that he is a lifelong Toronto Maple Leafs fan? Dan?
I think so. I think if there's one thing I've known about Cam, it's that he does have a level take about even his own Leafs. He still, he was quite pissed off at Kadri for his actions. He He's honest. He's always been honest about Chiarelli. I think he's even been probably the biggest detractor of Chiarelli the whole time. I think you can trust him for some Oilers takes still, even if it's going to be a shade bit negative.
There's some shit going on around here, people.
Bag Milk and I are just trying to hold this together. Rick is like
I'm
ducking
officially out
and
of the way. I
covering.
think I'm officially out of the way now.
It's good. Jared didn't want to slide into Chris's seat.
Wait, he's got all the
I gotta
equipment over
stay at
here.
the control
fair.
center, bro.
That's fair.
You know how smooth this is going to be once we have the podcast room up and running?
And I think that'll be complete in December of 2031.
Oh, I had 2025, but hey, I'm okay. I can wait
We'll,
next
we'll get
6
there.
years.
I
Should
remember
we do a podcast goal draft? Podcast studio goal draft?
absolutely when Chalmers actually gets down there and starts swinging a hammer. Sticking with the playoffs, I want to talk about a couple of scraps. We already mentioned Ovi versus Svechnikov. I want to get your thoughts on it. Dan, I'm going to get you last because you're the hockey fights guy. I already know what you're going to say. Rick, what did you think of that fight?
I thought it was fine. The thing that gets me the most is everybody who's yelling on the internet right now saying how this is not allowed, this is assault, if this happened in the street, somebody be going to jail, blah, 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 blah. You don't like hockey, or say you don't like fighting in hockey, don't watch. But if you're not involved in the sport at all, don't sit there on your high horse and try and tell somebody they can or should not do something because you don't like it. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the guys on the ice. Let them do it. They almost all to a player want fighting in the game. Why did he try and go with Ovechkin? I have no idea. I give the kid credit. Well done. It's what you want to do. It's the playoffs. Everyone can go at it. We've seen it a lot of times. A lot of stars go at it in the playoffs. I love it. Don't do it. Don't go after a guy that big. Come on.
Well,
Just
that
be
was
smart.
That was my thought. The weird part to me was like, well, Ovi's 33, whatever the fuck he is, 33, 34, somewhere in there. Why would you fight a 19-year-old? Like, he's not the one.
He said, "Hey, let's go."
He's not the one that challenged Svechnikov. He's the one that finished the job, but he's not the one that picked the fight. Dan?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, like the whole idea of like checking Svechnikov's ID before he agrees to a fight, like it just seems like utter nonsense to me. But you know what? And I wrote a little bit of a letter to Svechnikov, and I believe what I said in it is, you know, and it to the fact that I give full marks to Svechnikov for going in there. Yeah. He fought a guy that he probably idolizes, being a fellow countryman, and you know what? Every once in a while, somebody gets caught with a punch. It is what it is. You respect the code. You did your thing. You move on from it. You continue to score some goals once you recover from that knockout. And in the off season, as I suggested in my letter, maybe take some notes from your teammate Michael Furland and learn how to defend yourself a little bit better from those big pops.
Or here's an idea. Like I said earlier, don't pick a fight with a guy 50 pounds heavier than you.
That's fair.
I mean,
there's got to be another guy. Like Backlund's not that big. Maybe go after him. Like you bit off more than you could chew. Like I said, well done for the kid for standing up, wanting to go at it. You hung in there as long as you could. You took one that buckled your knees. You hit the ground. That sucks. I hate to see it, but it happens. Like, are we going to take? I think it's got to be safer to see guys fight in the NHL than to see these guys go 120 kilometers down a hill on skis on ice, and all they're wearing is fucking Ned Flanders Speedo suit.
Feels like he's wearing nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Well, and I said it too. Like, it was with the Kadri suspension, the Kadri hit. That's an example of something where you see your guy get hit. He saw, I think it was Marleau got hit.
Yep.
Marleau
and then he goes after DeBrusque, and instead of the traditional answer, which was to just fight a dude, and then that's the end of it, he instead goes in and smokes him in the teeth with his stick, and then Chara comes in and he's ragdolling Kadri, and it's just...
You know, he could have. He was very, very nice to Kadri.
Oh yeah, of course. He could have destroyed him. But my point is that if Kadri and DeBrusque just fight right there, that can be the end of it.
They probably would have had to fight the first game, but yeah, you're 100% right there. That's the way it's supposed to be dealt with.
But we now live in a world where everybody trusts the Department of Player Safety, and everybody trusts the referees, and they want the referees to solve everything for them. And this is what we're left with.
Sticking with hockeyfights.com, I want to also talk about, this one's a little bit more fun, at least I think. Reeves and Kane.
Oh yeah,
going back and forth in that series. San Jose has looked like dog shit. Vegas is steamrolling them. However, Reeves and Kane went to battle. Kane came out and called Reeves the Muffin Man or whatever.
Yep.
Reeves has taken that in stride, changed his profile pic. I saw that today to the Muffin Man.
If he said if he joins the WWE, he's going to come out to the Muffin Man song. Call himself the Muffin
Putting
Man.
out some teas. That's what it's about. I love that. I love the going back and forth. I love the jawing each other in the media.
This is the part of the playoffs that is the best because these guys, everything they think about in the regular season when it comes to a microphone in front of them, it goes away. This never would have been said. I'd love to have this said in December and November and January because this is great. And then he comes out and says when Joe Thornton's like, oh, I don't think I hit him very hard, whatever, blah blah blah. And then Reeves like, oh yeah, no, I have a buddy like that. His grandpa, he's starting to go too, and blah blah. This is gold, you guys. There is not another sport out there that it's this easy to start talking like that.
Yep.
Very rarely do you see athletes who are jarring back and forth each other actually face off against each other.
Yeah. Well, and
these guys are going at it. It's fucking great.
So I was reading, and I don't know who I heard it from, but I guess this Kane Reeves thing has been going for about 9 years now.
For
the
sure.
two guys just absolutely despise each other, and so it's beautiful to see them line up in a matchup and they fight. Thornton gets into the mix, chirping that Reeves lost the fight somehow, which he very clearly did not. But then the war of words is going back and forth, and I don't think it will, but I hope that series keeps going.
Everything about it is just so fun. It's like Rick said, this is what sports should be. Personality, there's no calculated, well, we just need to get pucks deep answers. There's nothing like that. It's all a breath of fresh air to me.
Yep.
Quite like what you'll get.
Boom.
If you have a Pog deodorizer in your home. Why? That bad boy is going to kill 98% of household odors caused by bacteria and fungus. Why? Because it freshens and purifies the air naturally using the power of nature. What else does it do? It eliminates odors without the use of dangerous chemicals. Handheld unit, wall unit, fridge unit. You need all of them as far as I'm concerned. Make sure that your house is smelling fresh and clean. Go to thepogstore.com right now and check out their 30-day odor-free challenge. You know you want to. You know you want to. Sticking along the lines of the playoffs, I want to know, which series do you guys not care at all about? Is there one that you just cannot get into? For me, it's Dallas and Nashville. I just could not care less. I've tried to get into it. I've tried to watch it a little bit. I don't care. I don't care at all.
There's not a lot of hatred in that one. There's not a lot of spice to it, and it's just kind of, it's like one team punches, then there's a counterpunch. It's just been that way. Nashville got destroyed in game 4, and they're probably going to come back and win the next game. Like, it is what it is. I think for me, the series that's kind of been like I like the storyline of the home disadvantage, but it's been the Jets and the Blues. I just don't find that to be all that wild or entertaining. The storylines are there. Like, you've got the Binnington rookie sensation goaltender, but I just haven't got around it yet.
I think if Winnipeg keeps playing the way they are right now, the last 3 games, it's going to become a lot better. I think that St. Louis just came in as a better team, and I had St. Louis to win that one. If I had to pick one, even though it was a big upset, and I was watching one guy in particular pop 4 in 4 games, I think it was the Islanders in Pittsburgh, though. Like, that was just...
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually.
You know what I mean? Like, first of all, the Islanders are a team that's tough to watch. Like, if they didn't have Eberle, are you really going to be sitting there watching? If they didn't have Tavares back when they had Tavares, were you really going to watch them?
That's fair.
Like, they're blah.
They're
just like their arena was, right? Like, it was an old beaten down arena, and it's just...
They're the Barry Trotz Nashville Predators now. Like, that's what he was when he was with the Nashville Predators. There's just nobody on his team, but he's just making it work as a team and a group.
I think one of the most interesting things about the Islanders is that they're now changing buildings for round 2.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Are they going back to Brooklyn now?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is all part of it.
What a nightmare.
It's super odd to me that they're changing buildings in the middle of the playoffs.
I don't see any reason why they have... Well, I suppose we probably don't look into it very much, but why? Like, what is the point? You've got this building, you're ready to go. It's rocking in there. And now you're going to go to the Barclays Center where there's 50 seats where you can't even see all the ice from them.
Got to get that car advertisement.
Well, you got that car down
corner.
there. Like it's the IIHF World Championships.
Yeah, it's
I don't
it's
know.
a weird one.
I don't know. It's weird. Which series is hands down the best? Like, I know we talked about which one we're enjoying the most, but like in terms of just general hockey, in terms of just having no skin in the game, but you just watch the game and you're like, man, this is a great time.
The Columbus Tampa series was phenomenal just because that's an 8 seed that just absolutely took Tampa out to the woodshed after one period of hockey and was like, we're done with you guys. We're going to dispose of you handily. And they did. And I guess it was Foligno. Foligno said that he had a big blow up in the locker room after the first period when they were down 3-0. And then I guess Tortorella came in, gave his piece, and the boys just went to work, and Tampa never recovered. It was wild to watch. John Cooper, their head coach, looked like he had no idea what he was doing.
I put this more on Tampa than I do Columbus.
Like,
Tampa,
I don't disagree.
They were just 4 flat tires. I honestly, there's goalie Bob is amazing, but the amount of firepower that Tampa has, there's no way they should have been swept. This is insane.
What did you guys think of the tweet they put out immediately after that was like a breakup song from a 14-year-old girl where they're just like, we've got no words and we know you don't want to hear it. Like, that's something that
It's new.
you would have written on your binder in junior high. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's new age stuff, right? Like,
And they've been
we
doing,
sit there and watch it. Like, sure, Bob did whatever Bob did, and everyone's like, "Oh, I need to do what the Rangers did," and just write that little letter. And so I think it's the social media era. It's the new softer era. Probably didn't want to do it, but they sat there and went, "Okay, we have to." Like, this is the way things are going now. You just got to do it.
I know they definitely did one the same kind of style bag milk after the third game. I don't know if they did one after the second game, but it's like that same kind of an apology to the fans. They
Don't worry, guys. We'll get this.
yeah,
We're so sorry.
but like Cooper's comments after game 4, when he comes out, he's like, you know what? This is the world we live in. 8 seeds beat 1 seeds. And I think Ryan Whitney said it on Spit and Chicklets. Not this 1 seed. You're tied for the best 1 seed
Asterisks.
of all time.
Put an asterisk on that.
Absolutely. But you're tied for the best 1 seed of all time, and you go out and you do that to a team that 3 weeks ago was still struggling to get into the playoffs.
Just make the playoffs.
Yep.
Just make the playoffs.
Well,
That's why I sat there this year, and in the beginning of March, I guess it was, where I still had a little bit of a bubble of hope. We got it. Like, why even make the playoffs? You either get swept in 4 in the first round, and you're gonna get destroyed by whoever's in first in the division. Blah blah blah. Just make the playoffs.
Well,
you never know what's gonna
in
happen.
2006, the Oilers snuck in at game 81 or something.
Yeah,
like
the second last one we were playing Vancouver.
So anything can happen. You get in and you never know. What's interesting though is Tampa's already out. Calgary's on the ropes. They're down 3-1.
Love it.
If Calgary gets bumped out, that will be the first time in NHL history that the top seed from both conferences were eliminated in the first round. That is bananas.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be some real movement by the GMs to change this playoff format again. I don't know what the answer is completely, but I think that there will be some people complaining about it now.
You have to beat the best teams in your division anyways,
agree.
your conference anyways. Just play them.
Yeah, I think whining about the format is just like, give me a break.
It's what losers do, but we'll have 2 of the best, quote unquote, best regular season losers.
Sounds to me like they're wasting a lot of careers down there.
If the Flames do get bumped out, you wasted Makachuk's ELC. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. He might want to go.
Mhm.
Rumor has it he's not happy. He's probably going to ask
Probably
for a
wants
trade.
to go play with his brother in Ottawa.
Well, I mean, he loves the city capital. He likes the Parliament building. He likes. He wants to play some outdoor pond hockey on the river.
They have some nice museums there.
Of course,
I hear those are big in Calgary.
of course.
They love when people go to museums.
Yeah, museums are a big hit in Calgary. As we got another couple of minutes here, Rick mentioned Jordan Eberle's playoff so far. This one is a lot of fun for me. This one is great for me to watch because I was very vocal after the playoffs that trading Jordan Eberle because of one, or I guess 2 bad series, the first time he's ever been in, is absurd. And that's exactly what happened. And now we look at him. He's a little bit older. He's got some playoff experience. He's got some confidence. And you see the kind of goals he's scoring. He is threading
that
needles.
bar down, that I think is game 4 when him and Barzell were on the breakaway, and he brought it in the top of the crease almost, and still went bar down over the goalie's shoulder. Like, that was absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know how far he's going to be able to carry it into round 2, if he's going to keep rolling or not. But one thing I know is this is helping him in a contract year. He didn't have a great year. He only had 19 goals this year, which for him is low. However, what he's doing in the playoffs is probably going to buy him a few extra shekels on that contract.
What's he get?
Does he match what he's got now? He was a 6x6.
I don't know, man. I don't think you can give him 6 years or $6 million.
Dan, what do you think?
It'd be tough to keep him up at that 6 number if you're a team that's close to the cap. I don't know about if the Islanders just keep him and aren't unhappy paying.
Yeah,
him
without considering any cap restrictions or anything like that. If he was just out there, if you had
free agent.
if you had, what are you offering? You can't. It's got to be 3 to 4 years and
4
to 5 somewhere.
4.5. Yeah,
between 2 and 4 years and $4 and $5 million, and then obviously you base your dollars on years. Like the less years, the less money.
I mean, I'm looking at the list of available right wingers right now. There's Jordan Eberle, Joe Pavelski, Jason Pominville, Gustav Nyquist, Matt Zuccarello, Justin Williams, Wayne Simmons. There are some options here, and then as the list goes down, you're more kind of like your middle 6 kind of guys. Looking at the list of available free right wingers that are coming up on July 1st, he's kind of near the top of the pile.
He's the one I go for out of that list.
You
had a bunch of old guys. Yeah, Wayne Simmons is beaten down.
What was Pavelski making last year or this year?
Pavelski was making 6 as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
What's his birthday?
33.
He's 200 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason
Which is
Pominville's
crazy.
coming in at 35.
Dude,
Gustav
it's
Nyquist is 28.
It's Gus and it's Ebbs.
And Zuccarello's in the mix as well. He's 30 though. Justin Williams is 36. Wayne Simmons 29. Derek
But
Dorsey.
Simmons is going to be aging like Lucic though.
It'll be interesting to see how teams value his playoff performance versus his less than stellar regular season.
But then again, I'm looking at this list of
19
available.
goals. Where does that sit on the Oilers?
Oh, I know. I'm not
Yeah.
discounting it. I'm just saying it'll be interesting to see where the conversation goes for him because like Begmo says, does he continue to strive here in the playoffs?
Well, if you like, so what Rick was mouthing is if he has 19 goals, where's that at the Oilers? And it's 4th.
Oh god.
Because they got Leon Connor,
Oh, yeah.
Nuge, Chase on,
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
fair.
right underneath.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like looking at this list of free agents, again, he's near the top of the pile. In $6 million, it's a lot of money, but he might get it.
That's
Man,
the
how do
price you pay.
It's so weird in a sport where as you get older and he's still in that age where his salary should be going up as cap goes up and he gets older and more experience and blah 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 blah. The fact that he's gonna plateau or go down a little bit, that's got to be a kick to the balls for a guy.
It's also it's like a weird transition, right? Because like now you get the guys like Leon who comes out of his ELC, signs a big ticket, and then who knows by the end of that 8 years he'll be 29.
So if you're a heartless businessman who is the GM, that's what you do. You get your 3 years in the ELC, you give him that 8 year, and at the end of that 8 year,
See you later.
yeah, you start moving him, man. Like 28 years old, you saw what happened when we brought Lucic in. What happens if you could say we had Lucic at the end of that time instead of letting him, what kind of trade do you get for him? Like, look what we just backed up to him in terms of term and dollars.
Yeah.
Imagine what a team is going to give you. And Wayne Simmons,
Well, Wade Simmons is a good example. It's going to be very interesting to see what
he's
he
going
gets.
to make some coins.
That whole Lucic summer, because there was Andrew Ladd, there was Kyle Okposo, there was David Backus. None of those guys are having good careers since. They're all in the back nine.
Dude, it's 27, 28, 29 is the top of the mountain now.
Which is weird, right?
Oh, it's
Because
very
in the
weird.
90s, baby, you're just getting started.
Well, look who scored his first. It was the second oldest player ever scored a goal in the playoffs And that's Chara last night at 42 or whatever. And the oldest was Chelios at 45 and 80 days or something stupid. 45 years old.
The crazy thing about that list there that Bag Milk has up is that in the top 10, only Jonas Donskoy is younger than Eberle for that list. So
Yeah, there's Brent Connolly there as well, Brandon Tanev, but like,
And those names aren't even the same caliber.
No,
as-
you can't.
well, and that's
so
what I was
yeah.
getting to. It's
Can't
like
put 'em up.
we're not comparing apples to apples here.
no.
Now, Evs
So-
did get a little boost when he was here. I think he was a little. People brought him a little too close to Taylor, a little closer to Taylor than he should have been. Like when he came in, they said he's going to be a really good secondary scorer, and then they compared him to Joe Mullen from Pittsburgh. And Joey Mullen was a second line player who played behind the likes of the Yoggers, the Lemieux, the Kevin Stevens. And so you get to do your actual secondary scoring where you kind of hide in the shadows of those guys. And of course, here we put him on the center of the sun, and maybe, that's a little too big for him. Now he's got Barzell. Now he's got a young team there. A lot of guys who can play minutes ahead of him, and he gets to come down and play that second line and absolutely slaughter people.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Jordan Eberle in the offseason. I know Wanye had a good chat with his mom.
I love to see that. He's going out there for the company. He's going out there getting into the families, trying to recruit. He's probably looking up a cousin or something like that. Who else can he take to, go get some oodle noodle? Okay, let's talk to your cousin. Maybe we'll get you a job. We'll get you sweeping up things. Get you raking up the yard here at the Little Brick. Maybe help you put together the dog patch. We'll bring the whole Eberle family in.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go check out Real Life Podcast, where Wanye tells the story of meeting Mrs. Eberle and bonding with her for what sounded like a hell of an evening. They just connected,
I don't think he watched the game. He was texting that.
Of course he was. I want to go ahead and thank Sherwood Ford the Giant. I want to thank Pog for making this all possible. And I want to thank Dustin Nilsson for ripping on Cooom right now on the episode of Inside the Nation that is going up live on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Oilers.
Shout out Damien.
Best wishes.